Why? It's so good. I'd love to take a 360 to school. It looks like a Kaiba Core router. What the fuck were they thinking? Fuck it, I'm still gonna buy it.
Oh, so gaming. Wow, we haven't had gaming shit in a long time.
Yeah, like there's a lot we want to talk about, and then we want to keep it under the length that we had our last video that we just recorded. But yeah, this generation is something else, ain't it?
Oh yeah. So gaming news. Wow. So David, you can start there. I know you have a lot you want to talk about here.
So, as an Xbox ambassador, I'm conflicted at a lot of their fucking decisions lately, specifically about their new tech for their SSD that they just announced the price point for. But before I get to ripping them apart about proprietary bullshit hardware, I really want to touch on like the changing landscape of gaming right now, because we're entering a new generation, and Microsoft with Game Pass, PlayStation with their fluctuating price point for new console games, and then
Fluctuation, mind you. Fluctuation.
yeah, there's a vast price difference in a lot of shit for this generation, and the mindset of the gaming community that 1 terabyte for a fucking game as a default hard drive space fucking matters now.
It's funny because I think one of the funniest things about this whole thing is that like everyone was expecting both consoles to be fucking expensive as shit, and they're actually pretty cheap. Like they're paycheck worthy. Like a basic paycheck can get you that either console. So I'm actually shocked. I'm actually pretty proud of Xbox and PlayStation for that, because that's good. About 300, 400, 500. That's a paycheck. Honestly, well, if you're like, unless you're like part time, like a full time job, like that's
Yeah.
you can still buy that shit and pay a bill, one bill. Not bad.
Yeah, like I'm not too conflicted on the price point. And, there was a lot of speculation this generation because it was using like next generation hardware. It was utilizing solid state drives. It was using all this newer tech that was going to be hitting close to 1,000 for a while. That was the speculation on the YouTubers. Like, we're not a gaming channel by any stretch of the imagination. We're fucking nerd culture. That's what we brand ourselves as. But
Yeah.
like, you and I are the bigger gamers on the channel, so we've been eating this shit up for the last like month and a half, just sitting in the corner like, Thurman, look, they announced it. David, look, like here's all the games that are coming out. I'm sitting there in my fucking parking lot because I got VTO'd out at work that day, and you're talking about all the price points for the fucking PlayStation stuff. Like, telling me about all the reveals. I'm sitting there sending voice memos, and one of my coworkers is looking at me like, what the fuck are you doing? You're not in a call. I'm like, it's called a voice memo. It's a beautiful thing.
Oh yeah, because I was hyped that day, bro. Like I woke up late as fuck. I promised myself when I know like reveals or like streams are happening, I have to wake up early on my off days, because usually when streams are happening, they're happening when I work. So like
Absolutely.
I'd be lucky enough. Like when fucking E3 was happening last year, I was at work, so I had to fucking literally
I was live tweeting it. Remember?
yeah, I literally had to tune in during my break time, just so I could fucking catch up and see what's going on. Luckily, my bosses are nerds like I am, so while they were on their breaks, they would tell me everything that was being announced and shit like that. So it's great, but I'm just like, oh god, it's annoying, bro. Like
Yeah, like that week I was working at fucking Amway last year. I think I took the day off as a point just so I could fucking sit there on the server and shitpost about it. Like, I'm going to be real, this year has ruined my ability to remember what the fuck happened more so than any other year. But
yeah,
that's beside the point. Like, 1 terabyte is fucking nothing. And we as gamers know this. Like, I'm still baffled by companies thinking that 1 terabyte fucking matters. And like, a lot of the more gaming-oriented channels have broken down, like, the default file sizes for, like, fucking Spider-Man Remastered and Miles Morales bundled is hitting, like, 110 gigs. Demon Souls hitting at close to 70 gigs. And you've already ate up a tenth of your fucking hard drive. Like, it baffles me that this is the standard. And you know goddamn good and well that when Call of Duty fucking Black Ops Cold War comes out, with Call of Duty's habit to creep as a file size, look back to the fucking Modern Warfare controversy for this, it's going to be hitting close to 200 gigs by the time all the DLC's done coming out. So, yeah, your hard drive's gone basically 3-4 games in this generation. And that's the one thing that I'm like, no, we can't continue to have this 1 terabyte standard. Or with fucking PlayStation, I think it was 825 gigs. That's their default for their console this generation. I'm like, what the fuck number is that? First of all. Second of all, that's still bullshit. Like, give us a 2 terabyte default. We know it can be done. But we're still sitting there with that mentality that 1 terabyte's good. It keeps it affordable, like you said. Like, this generation is super affordable until you start looking at all the fucking hardware. But, yeah, like, fucking PlayStation knocked it out of the park this generation for me. Like, I might be an Xbox shill, you know. I love the feel of an Xbox controller more than a PlayStation controller, not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
And the Elite controller has fucking ruined me as a gamer. Having those back paddles for fucking, like, spamming attacks in RPG or action RPGs, or being like, oh, this is my reload button back here. Yeah, fucking beautiful. But I'm getting a fucking PS5, first off, this generation. It's the first time I've been Sony. Well, I guess technically this past gen I was Sony first, too, because I didn't buy a Series or Xbox. Jesus.
The names, huh?
Yeah, I'm like, wait, I was wrong. I feel like a parent buying shit at Christmas. No, I didn't buy an Xbox One until like a couple years ago because there wasn't anything that really interested me at first. Like Sunset Overdrive, cool, that was kind of catchy. Rise, that was kind of cool for a launch title, and I just sat there and I ate up PlayStation for a while. Hey, can we talk about the fucking names? What the fuck were you smoking, Microsoft?
I'm legitimately curious, like, what, a lot of people are roasting them about that, which is interesting, because I really don't know, like, where their thought process was, like, Xbox Series X, like, 360 at Xbox One, like, what about Xbox 2 or Xbox 2000 or something like that, like, better, you know?
There was a joke for a while back before the Xbox One came out. I was like, what are they going to name it now? The Xbox 720? Oh, I've been fucking better!
Yeah, I don't know. The names, it's funny too because a lot of people, it wasn't usually the name wouldn't even be that big of a deal. But the issue is the fact that the thing is though with that is that a lot of parents are confused now because they just released a new version of the Xbox One.
Yep.
Like Xbox One X or Xbox Series One X or something like that. So people are getting confused. And that's the reason why this controversy is such a big deal. Not even a controversy, just I don't know how the fuck Microsoft thought that was a good idea, but they did that shit. So I'm like, oh, okay, well.
I pity poor retail workers this holiday season, man. I'm so glad I'm not a retail worker anymore. All I'm going to be doing is packaging your shit, you greedy motherfuckers and your bots.
Bro, I low-key, I don't know about all of you guys in the comment section, but I had to talk with them, but digital all the way. So,
see, I for one am physical. Like, as long as there's still an option, unless it's PC gaming, obviously. I'm the multi-platform superior race, bitches.
Oh yeah, facts. No, facts. Multi-platform, Switch, PC, and Xbox and PlayStation.
I was joking about what to use for a thumbnail for this. I was just going to surround myself with all my consoles, and I saw somebody already did that for a fucking OnlyFans photo. I'm like, shit. But anyway, Like there's so much that I fucking love about this generation already, but there's so much rush for it right now, especially in the current climate. And you've seen the memes that have come out of it, like the Craig the alien from fucking Halo, the Brute, just like fucking looking like an early Xbox game, because they snapped a fucking screenshot of it and memed it. There's a lot of the fact that I really do believe that this generation should have been delayed past the holiday season because of the situation in the world.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
Because a lot of the studios are still working from home or are going to be working from home for the foreseeable future. You're seeing a lot of this, like, this game is being delayed, this game is being delayed, this game is being delayed, and now you're getting to this mindset that Xbox has no games because Halo Infinite got delayed, and that was a big flagship title for them when they first announced the Scarlet back last E3.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be backwards compatible though. A lot of games might be because I know what I feel like what Microsoft is doing, they're relying a lot on the Game Pass because I think the Game Pass is gonna transfer over to the X,
the Series X.
Yeah, so I could be wrong. You can quote me on that. I could be wrong, but okay. So yeah, so I think that's why they're like not too worried about it. They're like, oh, we can delay this because they're gonna get the backlog of the Game Pass anyway. Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of smart. So anything because Sony's doing the same thing.
Yeah, like 99%. They're touting that 99% of PS4 titles will be working with the PS5 on launch.
Yeah. Because I'm actually impressed too. Because one of the biggest things that I've noticed in the past, for like a lot of people had issues with buying consoles on launch, was that they had no launch titles. Like I know the one the PS4 had this issue. A lot of people were upset because they had shitty launch titles. Like I remember we had like Knack, and then I think Call of Duty Ghost was a launch title too.
Yeah.
For the PS4, the PS4 start wasn't, I don't know if it was good, but like gaming wise it was shit because our launch titles were shit, and then I don't know if Xbox had the same issue, but like
it did. Like its launch titles were Forza, because fucking Forza. I think Master Chief Collection came out close to launch. You had Sunset Overdrive, you had Dead Rising 3, and Rise Son of Rome. Like there were games that were labeled and there's like special covers of like Day 1 edition because they came out Day 1.
Launch. And I think only like one of those was successful. I know Sunset Overdrive was pretty popular. That game was fucking fun too.
That game was underrated masterpiece. See,
yeah,
I love their games. Like the other one that was really undersold for Insomniac was Fuse. It was dumb fun, and that's what they're good at.
And then I know. I heard Rise Son of Rome was shit, and I know Forza's Forza. It has its fan regardless, so
Rise Son of Rome wasn't shit. So, at least in my opinion, it was just short for a $60 game. It was like an 8-hour experience, and that was it.
Okay. Because I was like, I heard it was like 50-50, and then what was the other one you said? It was
Rising 3, which was
I heard shit about that. I heard that game was terrible.
It was a slog, my dude. I tried playing it because I loved Dead Rising back in the day, and yeah, R.I.P. Capcom Vancouver, because that started to cement your death.
Yeah, that was. I think that was around the time where people were like, "Capcom's dead," but hey, Capcom grew out of the woodwork.
Paddle back.
They're back. Mega Man's coming back. Monster Hunter's coming back. I know Dead Rising had a new game. Resident Evil's bringing them back. They're bringing back some shit now. If I know Street Fighter has gotten better. I know Street Fighter 6. Capcom's coming back. They just gotta. Now they have to focus on the franchises that they killed.
Weren't they Beautiful Joe?
Yeah, Beautiful Joe. Devil May Cry. Coming back. Good shit. All I need is a new Mega Man. We need a new Mega Man X game. We need a new Darkstalkers. Make Street Fighter 6 good.
How long has it been since there was a Darkstalker?
Make sure a new Breath of Fire. I love that. What else? A new Dino Crisis. People love that. Because
people have been touting for Dino Crisis remake since Resident Evil 2 remake, and me being the Resident Evil guy, I'm so stoked for fucking Resident Evil Village. Okay, I saw that shit. I'm like, yo. But yeah, like,
It's funny because like we'll go back to the consoles in a minute, but Capcom like it was one of the point where Capcom was like dead, right? People were like, all the games are being shit. They're having the good ones, then they're like, bam, Mega Man 11, bam, Street Fighter 5 finally is good, bam, Resident Evil, bam, Monster Hunter, bam, Mega Man, a Mega Man Legacy Collection, all these collections for Mega Man, bam, Devil May Cry 5. Like Capcom's coming back now. They're milking Devil May Cry. They're trying to milk Resident Evil. All these new Resident Evil remakes, which have been still selling like hotcakes. They're milking Monster Hunter. Now, now they're pulling.
I'm going to step back and say, like, I wasn't a fan of how short Resident Evil 3 remake was. I get it. It was a short game, but you used it to shill in your multiplayer experience, too. Let's be real here.
Hey, bro, they do what they got to do,
But yeah, there wasn't as much love put into the 3 make as there was the 2 make, and you can tell. I get it. You're also working on 8, which I'm going to forgive you for, but don't fucking do that again.
Oh yeah, bro.
Alright, if they make a 4 make, which they really don't need to, because they port Resident Evil 4 to fucking everything.
Yeah. So Capcom's coming back, bro. All we need, they're pulling a Nintendo right now, and they're milking what works. That's great and all, but give us a series that we love. Give me my Breath of Fire. Give me my new Mega Man. Give me my new, Darkstalkers and Firebots. All the shit that made them popular. Give me that shit too. Don't just forget about other shit. But yeah, but going back to the consoles in general, right? Like, it's amazing to me how Capcom's not Capcom how things are changing now. Like we get a lot of changes when it comes to gaming as a whole, right? Like it's becoming more accessible. And I know in the last video I talked about how popular anime has become. Video games has always been popular, but I think in a different light, video games are starting to be seen more as an art form now than just playing video games with your buds. Because.
And see, Thurman, I'm going to bring the heat to this video real quick. You see games that are really, really accessible, like your walking simulators, that are like these short, fucking stories that are just, in these little tiny 8 to 10 hour packages. Your Life is Strange's, your fucking, like your Tell Me Why's, shout out to Dotnod because I fucking love their IPs. You see things like the Telltale games where these short little experiences you can sit down and experience with your kids, stuff like that really bring a new generation to gaming. And they allow you to tell these more art form style stories. Life is Strange talking about mental health, reaching out to the LGBT community, Tell Me Why, really, really knocking it out of the park with a trans tale. You see The Walking Dead be able to tell these other outside stories, like the Game of Thrones one, for example, was a fucking marvelous way to get more people into the Game of Thrones franchise. You see Tales from the Borderlands be so popular in the Borderlands fandom that they incorporated Reese into Borderlands 3. You see the success of the Walking Dead series, and a lot of this comes down to the streaming community too, bringing a whole nother generation of fans into the Walking Dead fandom.
Mm-hmm.
And that allows the accessibility to gaming, be like, oh, this is video games. And then you see them come out to like the other franchises, your Marios, your fucking, goddamn Kingdom Hearts, for example. I know that a lot of these newer generation of fans, because you see this more art form mentality in it, and even like Breath of the Wild being one of the most visually stunning Nintendo games, brought a whole other generation into the Zelda fandom because it was so drastically different from anything that the fandom had ever seen. And that's the good thing about Zelda, is like every generation that's out, it just continues to change. But this is the first time it's like, wow, this is really cinematic, open world. You get to do all these little side fucking things here. It's almost like Skyrim and Dark Souls, because goddamn, some of the combat encounters on that was like, got me into the point where it was like the you died. But yeah, like you're right. Like it's the most accessible fandom right now because of how differently we're telling these stories, and like with the open world aspect of the stuff, you get to see near endless stories out of these contained stories. Skyrim being the meme that it is, like with the Radiant Quest being like, you never beat Skyrim because of how they
Mhm.
did it. Every time you boot it up is a different experience. Obviously, you have the same quest line, but you've never really fully explored the map to Skyrim. The Witcher's another one of them that like they even toned back the game size for Cyberpunk because so few people actually completed The Witcher, even though it's one of the most critically acclaimed stories in gaming. So getting that more accessible fandom right now, and especially these past two generations, and quarantine be damned if it didn't help bring a whole lot of new gamers into this, being like,
Oh
well,
my god, bro! You have no idea how pissed I like. I've been trying to buy Joy Cons during the pandemic for 3 months, and I couldn't find Joy Cons. And I'm like, and I was talking to the guy at Target and like Walmart and other places. He's like, yeah, a lot of people have been buying. I'm like, since when did you fuckers like video games? Like that's what I understand. Like me and my sister were joking about that. Like when do these fuckers like video games? Aren't these the same people who used to make fun of people like us for playing video games? Like when did
exactly.
the fucks get a switch? Like bro, like I was pissed, bro. I was like,
I actually walked my goddamn happy ass into a GameStop for the first time in like 6 months to buy Joy-Cons when I
not
picked
even,
up Doom Eternal.
bro, not even a fucking GameStop. Like my main GameStop, like my core GameStop that I go to, didn't even have it.
I
I
went
was
to the shitty ghetto one at the mall just so I knew that very few people had stepped in there.
it's
Because the
just like
mall had
oh,
just opened back up at that point.
it's like, oh my god, like what can I do to find some Joy Cons? And I'm happy that we're in an era where a lot of people are, gaming now. But it's just like that. It brought back some repressed memories, bro. It was
Yeah.
like, weren't you motherfuckers talking about reality TV? Like, why are you guys? Why is everyone
Why
in
are
game?
you all playing Animal Crossing?
Like, why? Yeah, like yo, like that's what I'm saying. Like, since when were you guys into video games?
You were talking about Love Island last week, and now you're sitting there trying to get a fucking good rating on your island. Shut up.
Yo, it's so funny.
But yeah, like I love that the quarantine has done that. This pandemic has brought new gamers to us. Also, at the same time, fuck off.
Yeah.
Let
So
me at least replace my drifting ass Joy-Cons.
yeah,
No, like this next generation. The joke being that Xbox has had any games for a while now, but really they do under Game Pass. Like they're slowly scooping up all these studios, and the big one that really got me thinking about doing this video, outside of like the console generation news, is acquiring fucking Bethesda.
that's huge.
I was
That's
sitting in my break room when I saw the live tweet from Major Nelson. I'm like, what the fuck?
that's interesting now because they have Rare, now they have Bethesda.
They
It's
have see, from a Fallout fan perspective, Thurman. From a Fallout fan perspective, now we might be able to get a New Vegas too,
Mhm.
because they have Obsidian and Bethesda, and that was the reason why neither side could touch the New Vegas plot lines because it was all rights mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, and
And
it's
now
interesting that
Microsoft owns them both.
it's interesting too because one of the biggest things is like a lot of people don't think that Microsoft has studios because like Sony has Insomniac, they have Sucker Punch, they have Naughty Dog. They have a lot of studios under their belt that make a lot of good games. Like Naughty Dog for Uncharted, Last of Us, and Jack and Daxter. Insomniac for Ratchet and Clank, and
So
Sucker Punch for Sly Cooper and Infamous. So like they have some
So
things
just
that
like just to put in perspective what buying Bethesda or technically buying ZeniMax actually did for Microsoft. They now have id, Tango Gameworks, Bethesda, ZeniMax Online Studios. They have Machine Games, Arcane, and wrap into that like the fact that they also have Obsidian, which Obsidian being the ones that did New Vegas, arguably the best fucking Fallout game in recent generations. So those 7 studios there alone, being their more recent acquisitions, is fucking wild. They own Doom, Dishonored, fucking like Machine Games being the Wolfenstein franchise as of like they own Fallout, they own the Elder Scrolls, they own Starfield, their new IP. This is fucking wild to think that all of those franchises are now Microsoft property to the tune of $7 billion, which proves, back me channeling a little bit of my wrestling fan here, like everybody's got a price. And it just happened to be $7 billion fucking dollars, my guy. I never thought I'd see Papa Todd sitting under fucking Major Nelson in a podcast talking about this acquisition and what it means for that, and the fact that they're going to also honor the fact that Tokyo Ghostwire was a PlayStation exclusive. So think about that for a minute. Now you have a fucking Microsoft Xbox Game Studios game on a PlayStation console coming in a couple years, and like exclusivity isn't going to be an issue except to a case-by-case basis. So like that's the part that concerns me, moving forward as a Bethesda fan and a Microsoft fan and a PlayStation fan. Because I don't want to see... Exclusivity sucks. We all know this as gamers.
Mm-hmm.
It's the one thing that keeps the console wars.
Oh, shit. Exclusive. Hey, I don't mind exclusive, bro. I'm just saying.
It's the one thing that keeps these toxic... and we talked about this at great length during the fucking reveal for the PlayStation 5. Like, that's the one thing that keeps these stupid fucking cunting console wars going. Like, you got Nintendo over there just vibing, doing whatever the fuck they want to do. And you got the PlayStation fanboys and the Xbox fanboys fighting like goddamn pit bulls. Because my franchise is better than my franchise. My franchise is better than your franchise. My system has better specs. My system has better specs. Motherfuckers, at this point, you're playing on fucking PC. Shut the fuck up. You are literally playing on a mid-range PC. I'm sorry to tell you this, burst your little bubble, but that's what you're doing. And then if you're buying a Switch, you're playing on a goddamn cell phone. I'm sorry, Nintendo's Nintendo. I love you. I love Mario. I love Zelda. I love fucking Fire Emblem. But you're playing on a goddamn cell phone. You got a mobile processor and that shit. When you got the consoles, you are literally on mid-range PCs at this point. Mm-hmm. And if you're an Xbox fanboy, you can play your games on your goddamn PC.
Yeah. By the way, before we continue, what's where are we at in the video? So Red won't get upset with us twice.
30 minutes.
All right. We should start
under 40. Let's try and keep it under 40 for Papa Red. He's got to edit this shit.
So let's start wrapping up, as he would say.
No. Let's make it 2 hours.
Yeah. So go ahead. Continue what you're saying.
No, like I've never I joked about like Xbox being better when I was in high school because I had the Xbox 360 first.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I get that you like what you like, and that goes down to any aspect of life. Like you like what you like. I love the feel of an Xbox controller because that's the one I've held the most, outside of my GameCube controller, which by far suck my dick. That's the best controller ever created. But like I've been spoiled in recent years by the Elite controller. Like that there is the greatest invention in gaming history to me, outside of being able to mouse and keyboard on PC, because you have the best control possible there. I love my Elite for console gaming. But I still don't understand the mindset of like my console's better because I have this series, and it's the only goddamn console that matters. Over here on PlayStation land, I got my Uncharted's, my Spider-Man's now, my Last of Us. That one's a touchy subject. But and over here on Xbox land, I got my Halos, my Gears, my Forzas. I got all these games here. Those matter more than No, you goddamn entitled children. They're just fucking entertainment. At the end of the day, that is what you are doing. You are entertaining yourself. It's no different than going to a goddamn movie. That's the mindset I've gotten in as I've grown older and more mature. I don't know about you.
Oh yeah, nah, bro. Honestly, I had the same conversation with him, bro. Like, ooh.
It was tiring reading the tweets as these fucking consoles got revealed. Like,
Bro,
Xbox is dead. No.
PlayStation fans are so cancerous. These people are fucking so cancerous, bro. They're so like it's crazy to me because I haven't seen it. I've been seeing toxic PlayStation fans more than I've been seeing toxic Xbox. I haven't seen toxic Xbox fans yet.
Try being an ambassador.
How? I haven't seen them on Twitter yet. How? Like literally.
Follow fellow ambassadors, and their mentions are just destroyed. But
Like literally, I go on a Microsoft tweet and it's a bunch of PlayStation people talking shit. Like, bro, that's wild.
And like I've seen even Stallion at this point, one of the most famous Xbox players of all time, highest gamer score for years and years and years. Like his mentions were a fucking cesspool, and it got to the point where he's just like, enjoy what you enjoy, like. And that's the mindset that I've gotten as I've grown older. Like, at the end of the day, gaming wins was the whole point from all of this. Like, gaming is winning right now. We are literally in the best generation possible. I still got a few points to say about Microsoft, though. Like, proprietary hardware is garbage. You should feel bad for creating these proprietary hard drives. You have a goddamn NVMe drive. Fucking let us put our own in there. You suck for that. That is the one thing I will say. Making a $220 cunting hard drive proprietary is ass.
He's trying to hurry up and get everything done before 40 minutes.
Yeah, that blew my fucking mind when the price point was revealed today. I saw that. I'm like, okay,
$200, dude. Holy shit.
Yeah, so you were saying gaming was affordable until you get into the file sizes, and then your goddamn Xbox Series X or Series S is getting a little less affordable there.
listen, man, listen. Okay, so I've learned the errors of my ways about that because I thought I would be good with the storage unit already, but the PS4 has such shitty storage. I was like, I might have to buy a new storage unit because the storage is bad. Like, so I get it, you know.
The thing being, like, you can use an external hard drive on it, USB 3.1 hard drives, but they don't support all the file types. So, like, certain games, and you can do the research yourself, certain games won't fucking save onto that, yada, 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 yada. This is me trying to wrap this video up, but, like, it's wild thinking $220 for that, and they're the size of an actual solid-state drive. So getting a couple of those things floating around, this has got Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War on it and Cyberpunk 2077 because we all know those are going to be two big chunky boys. I think Cyberpunk's only like 50 gigs. But Call of Duty being the living meme that it is with file creep, it's going to be huge. And then you got the one over there with Halo Infinite and fucking Gears 6 when it comes out. If they ever make a Gears 6, given the controversy of Gears 5. You know, it's going to be one of those things where you're going to start getting drives piling up, like the 360 memory cards back in the day. Remember those? Yeah. Those died real quick, so I'm hoping that this dies pretty quick to this generation, but the fact that they paid Seagate to create this proprietary drive makes me think that they're not going to have them disappear like they did the little memory cards, which is going to suck, because I don't want a drawer full of these. I already have a drawer full of hard drives, my guy. I don't want a drawer full of goddamn Xbox drives. But, yeah, that's the one thing I really hate about this generation. Everything else is just beautiful. Like, obviously I'm getting the Kaiba Core system first. Praise be to Seto Kaiba for blessing us with a beautiful console. And then I'll get the Series X when it limps to the field with some games that I actually care about. I already have an Xbox One X. I don't need a Series X right now because there's nothing that really entices me. You know, even the shill Xbox ambassador over here is being like, buy what you enjoy. And if you want your Final Fantasy, my God, Final Fantasy was a selling point for me this generation. It looks so goddamn gorgeous, you know.
Yeah, honestly, I'm getting all, but you know, I'm not getting them till later. The only reason why I get it earlier is because of all my friends literally like.
They're those types that just hop on the new generation at
Yeah,
launch.
like I don't want to like it'd be suck.
Mm-hmm.
Like it would suck if I like if I'm still playing old gen and like cause that's the one thing I would get it early for is because so I can still have voice chat with my friends. But I can wait a little bit to be honest.
Oh
But
yeah. It all depends on. For me, the deciding factor is when Red buys the PS5. I know he wants to get it close to launch, so I'll probably get it close to launch. I know you will probably get it close to launch when Red gets it, and the rest of your friends get it because, you know, we all want a shit posting game together. You know, it's one of those things. Like at this point, I buy consoles for exclusives. As much as I hate exclusives, that's why I buy it. I have my baby to play things on now. I don't need another console for that. I am going to need to upgrade my graphics card pretty soon. That's going to suck because, you know, bots bought all the 3000 series because you are all fucking animals. So, yeah, that part sucks right now. I was trying to get a fucking 3080 this morning and I got on every website and it was sold out, sold out, sold out. I'm like, motherfucker. So, yeah. I set aside a good chunk of money for either Comic-Con or a new graphics card, and given the state of the universe right now, I'm assuming Comic-Con's canceled. But yeah, that was what I was going to use that funds for, but now they're just still sitting in my bank account because of that. So yeah, anyway, wrapping this up at the 36-minute mark, final thoughts for this generation.
well, I'm super excited to see where we go from here. I'm definitely happy with gaming as of late. I'm happy a lot of the companies that we see that were doing what we're doing a few years ago are doing hot now. A lot of good choices, with bad ones, of course, but you know, I'm happy for the new. I'm excited for the PS5 and Xbox Series X because definitely they look good. So that's it for me. That's a piece for me.
So, like, the last point I really want to make here is, like, Game Pass being the selling point for early adopters right now. You have a plethora of good choices, and this is in no way sponsored video. Because you've seen us shit on fucking Xbox on this. You've seen us shit on Sony on this. You've heard me shit on Nintendo on this one. I've been flinging shit like a goddamn monkey this video. But Game Pass has been the one thing that has taught me to broaden my gaming horizons this past generation, because I've found so many gems through that service that I never would have found. Like, I never met Celeste, the game, until fucking Game Pass. Like, The Messenger is another one that I'd heard rumors about. Like, it's pretty good. You should check it out. I had never played it until I played it on Game Pass. So that is a beautiful thing. And Alana from Funhouse / Inside Gaming brought up a very, very good point that I had never even considered until the Bethesda acquisition. And I give full credit to her for broadening my mind here. And it being like, the fact that all of these games from Bethesda are still very, very expensive and having them all at launch under Game Pass. Like getting Elder Scrolls 6, Starfield, all these new quadruple A titles at launch for the subscription price helps so many low-income families that just barely were able to scrape by to afford a system this generation, given the state of the world especially. You know, and then hopping in and being able to experience these $60, $70 games, given the state of gaming right now where the prices are fluctuating anywhere between $70 and $40, you really have opened up these big ticket games to a whole nother audience by having them bundled in like that. Obviously, the big issue with me as a physical gamer is like when you use a service like Game Pass, and this is me like proving this isn't sponsored, is you don't own those titles. You own a license to them for as long as they're on the service. And the second they're pulled from the service, you no longer have access to that digital license. that digital license is free to be revoked at any time, and we've seen that recently, come back to light when we saw Scott Pilgrim be brought back as a remastered title for the anniversary of the film. Because that was the big one for me. Like, that very, very fun game just getting yeeted off of services. When games like Ultimate Alliance and Deadpool licenses lapse, you see them disappear from the stores. And then you no longer really have access to that shit if you get a new console. Because, well, sucks to suck because it's no longer available for purchase. So that's been the one thing that has kept me a physical gamer, and I will continue to be a physical gamer for as long as possible. But discovering these little gems and that on a service like Game Pass is a beautiful, beautiful thing, because you don't have to risk your money, your very, very hard-earned money, just to play a new title. And that being the biggest selling point this generation, being like all of these new triple and quadruple studios being under this banner, you don't have to be like, well, this game sucks. Like, look to Anthem or No Man's Sky on launch for a big example. Like, we both know how disastrous those were. Imagine if you paid $10 a month for a service and they were bundled in there. Like, these titles suck. I didn't really risk money. I'm glad I didn't waste $60 on it at launch. That's been me. Like, I've heard about this indie over here, or I've heard good things about the X game here, so I'll try it. Not my cup of tea. Uninstall. It's a beautiful fucking thing, So having something like that, I wish that Sony's service was that good though. Like, PlayStation Now is still kind of a mess. It's gotten better, but you don't see them really pushing it this generation,
Yep.
So, yeah.
Well, that's it. Where are we at now?
41 minutes, yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's peace for me. Like, try Game Pass, my guys.
Yeah, I have it. It's really good. Ultimate
really
Game Pass.
Is. That's the biggest takeaway. Like,
I downloaded 4 games on that shit already.
I have like 30 installed from Game Pass between my PC and my console.
So for Game Pass, so with the Ultimate Game Pass, does that include Gold too?
That includes Gold. That includes Game Pass for your PC and your console.
So when you have Ultimate Game Pass, you basically have everything. You have Gold, you can play online.
That's why for the longest time people have been like, Game Pass is going to be the only fucking service. And them taking away the 12-month subscription and the Xbox store has been like that. Like, ooh, it might be going away, and they're like, no, it's not going away, not yet. It's always a possibility that like it'll be bundled in with Game Pass. There won't be a Gold. There's always a possibility that PlayStation Plus might go free again. Who knows? Gaming is weird and is a beautiful fucking thing.
Definitely weird. Well, that's peace for me.
Peace.
Wonder if the Xbox looks better, actually. It's just a fucking PC!